welcome to this week's GG Weekend Watch, kindly sponsored by SBK. And we have our usual team reunited. We are back together again with Daryl Carter, Andrew Matt, and myself to look forward to Haydock, Ascot, and one scheduled race from Wincanton, but a very important race, of course, that we are going to be discussing through today's show. So lots to look forward to. Lads, I've missed you. I'm happy we're back together again. The band is reunited. So with plenty of good races to look forward to then this weekend. Now, of course, before we get started, I'm going to go back over the winners last week. Andrew,
Don't do it.
Daryl doesn't want to talk about it. Andrew doesn't because he wasn't even here, but I'm going to do it anyway because I'm in charge of the band. So we had Edward Stone winning at 10-11 for Rory. We had in Ren, Daryl winning for you at 7-4. And we had Breeze Alco at 4-1 also for Rory. So thank you to Rory for all of his company then on the last couple of weeks' shows. But we had better proceed with this week's racing. So we're going to start with the 150 at Ascot. This is the Reynoldstown Novices Chase, which is a grade 2 for 5-year-olds and over 2 miles, 7.5 furlongs, where Does He Know currently heads the betting as the 9-4 market leader. But some very interesting horses in this small runner field. Andrew, would you like to kick us off, please?
I would, because I spent a lot of time on this race when the decks came out, most of it trying to work out how to pronounce my pick in the race, J4. But so yeah, this is very competitive. I mean, the betting looks more like a handicap than a graded race. You know, 9-4 the field. Biggest price of the lot is 11-1. That's the one I like, so far. I'm not totally convinced by Does He Know. I mean, I do like his attitude under pressure, but he can race keenly. His trainer describes him as a bit of a head case, and I think he prefers better ground, but he heads the market at 9-4. Annual Invictus, you've got to worry about the trip on that ground as well. When he was winning over 2.5 miles, they were saying that if the ground came up soft or heavy, they wouldn't be worried about dropping him back to 2 miles. So 3 miles, bit of a concern. I quite like Courash Rambler. I mean, his trainer reckons that he'll stay 4 miles. So I mean, you know, having stayed on well and done best of the closers or second best of the closers, I think it was out Warwick over 3.5. Again, you know, coming back to 3 could be a bit of a worry. Doyen Breed, I wouldn't rule out. He does jump a little bit low, though, which is still a concern. And Fernhill's yet to win away from Weatherby, although it's still early days for him. So I just thought the price is Chauffeur. Still can't pronounce it after all that practice. I mean, he's going right-handed again, which is going to suit. I mean, he was only 5th to Courash Rambler last time out. That was at Cheltenham. He's jumped out to his right, as he often does. And you know, you look when he has gone this way round, he's usually run extremely well. And you know, he won here at Ascot over hurdles, and you know, I know that was a weaker, much weaker sort of opposition than he faces today. But I thought at the prices, given his preference for a right-handed track and the fact that he's back on one for the first time over fences, he's got to be worth a go at a double-figure price. Yeah,
as you say, 12-1 then, still about there for J4 as well. I'm going to go with that too. I actually have no idea myself. But the outsider of a lot then for Andrew in our first race. Daryl, you please for this race.
Yeah, Drew summed it up quite well, I think. Couldn't have J4 for the life of me, though. Do you know what? I have the same fears as Andrew does about Does He Know on the ground. I'm under no doubts that Does He Know is probably the best horse in the race. But the ground is going to be a slight concern for him, I think. Annual Invictus is the horse I'm going to opt to go with here. First time cheap pieces. I actually think the step up in trip is going to be a source of improvement for him. I don't think he's got tons more to come, but I do think for first time at 3 miles will definitely suit him, and he could just eke out a bit more. If you go back and watch his run at Plumpton last time, he was 20 lengths off the front 2 in a free runner race around Plumpton, where he was just completely outpaced for much of the race. He was 20 lengths behind at 4 out, and he stayed on. He's been beaten 2 lengths. I just think he's been crying out for a step up in trip. That's not the first time I've seen him wanting a step up in trip either. I think he'll be ridden fairly prominently, and I think he's got a bit more to come. I just think his form is absolutely rock solid, 145 level. Same with Does He Know, but you've got the ground concern. I wouldn't be too concerned about the ground for Annual Invictus. Courash Rambler is a lovely horse, and he always looks like he's got loads in hand, and he might well have loads in hand, but he's definitely like a nationally sort of type. Those types have won this race before. He gets a first-time tongue tie, but I just worry about his action, and I just worry that he lacks tactical speed, and I don't have that worry at all with Annual Invictus, even though he was outpaced at Plumpton last time. But I thought he was pretty solid, Annual Invictus. Bit of improvement to come for the step up and trip. I like that angle with him. Wouldn't be a confident bet, but it'd be the choice for me.
Yeah, so both of the lads there taking on the favourite, though, does he know, with those ground concerns with a couple there. So Annual Invictus as a tentative selection then for Daryl, but also Geoffroy then for Andrew himself. So we'll move on to the 225. This is the listed Swinley Chase, which is a limited handicap for 5-year-olds and over 2 miles 7.5 furlongs. So the same course and distance as the grade 2 in our previous race. For Daryl, again, lots of likeable horses in here. Who do you cite as the most likely winner?
Caribbean Boy for me. I think the prices are wrong here. Fiddler on the Roof, you can see why he's 15 to 8 at the top of the market. He's up £5 for that excellent second in the Ladbroke last time at Newbury. But you go back far enough. Well, last year, Caribbean Boy beat Fiddler on the Roof very easily over 2.5 miles, and he's £6 better off him today. He arrives here off the back of an excellent performance at Kempton. I thought that was a step back in the right direction. He's unexposed at 3 miles. I've always thought this horse was a 3-miler. I never knew what they were doing running him over 2.5 on good ground. I didn't think that suited at all. He'll enjoy the ground. The cheek piece has gone on the last twice. He fell at Ascot on his first start over 3 miles, but he didn't get too far at all. But forgive him that, and he just looks like he's back in the groove and he's on the upgrade. He's the horse for me that I think is an out-and-out stayer, and he's going to be ridden prominently. I just think there's loads to like about him for a 5-1 chance. He's only up £4 for that comfortable win at Kempton last time. Smarty Wild went out next time. I actually tipped him, and he fell, but he was tanking through the race. He surely would have given that form a boost. The third, Wishing and Hoping, chased home Celebra Dallin at Warwick. Celebra Dallin is a very, very well handicapped horse. In fact, he's at the top of the market for the Paddy Power Plate. I think he's got a big chance in that. So I think the form is absolutely rock solid. Nothing wrong with the track. He's ran well. He's ran okay here before. The ground's fine. He's fairly handicapped. He's unexposed at 3 miles. He's a Nicky Henderson horse. He's not even favourite. So 5-1 to do me.
Oh, for sure. Well, as you say, Caribbean Boy, hopefully he can get further than he did on his last run over this course and distance when falling at the first, and obviously giving poor old Daryl Jacob that horrible fall in the process as well. But soon made amends, and hopefully he can make amends then again here for Daryl. Andrew, your assessment, please.
Yeah, no strong opinion. I wasn't usually keen on Fiddler on the Roof, though. I mean, Fiddler on the Road, even. The Ladbrokes Trophy form hasn't really worked out. You have to go back down to 8th position to find the first horse who's come out and won from that race. And again, same with the Welsh National as well. That's again, everything that sort of ran in the Welsh National, even if it's pulled up, seems to have sort of pulled up again next time. So that would be worrying for the likes of Truckers Lodge. It seems to have taken a lot out of the runners in that race, and of course more of that later on when we get to Haydock. Regal Encore was fascinating, despite the fact that he's 14 years old. He's had a wind operation since his last run. I mean, what sort of owner, a very rich one probably, in the shape of JP McManus, gives a 14-year-old a wind operation? You think this could be one last swan song at a track he loves before retirement, perhaps? So the last time he had a wind operation, indeed the only time he's had one before, Regal Encore won on his first start following the surgery. So I thought that that was fascinating. And then at 14-1, he might reward each way support. The other one I was looking at was Fortescue, which is the horse we've discussed previously, Kate. He seems best in small fields. Now, you look at his record in fields of 9 or fewer runners, 5 wins and 5 places from 10 starts. We're sort of borderline here with 10 runners. A non-runner or 2 wouldn't go amiss. But I thought each way, Fortescue is probably going to be there or thereabouts. So I'll go for him over Regal Encore, but I thought the old boy might run a race here as well.
He was better than the bare result in the Ladbroke as well. Did you see his run there? He sort of got himself a bit beyond, but he had to jump over a fall in front of him as well. I nearly almost came down on him as well. So I might have a couple of quid on him as well now you mention it.
Oh, there you go then. So so Daryl being tempted in then as well with Fortescue. And I say with the old boy of Regal Encore, 14-1, about a 14-year-old. Wind operation as a 14-year-old. It's just wild, isn't it? And I'm just going to chuck another name into the mix because this race is that sort of a nature of a race. And for me, I really like Truckers Lodge here. I know, as you say, with the Welsh national form and how badly it's basically worked out. But I really do like his profile for this race because he's a 10-year-old. 10-year-olds have won 4 of the last 5 runnings of this race, only a 9-year-old splitting those. Truckers Lodge, he still remains lightly enough raced for this contest. 20 career starts to his name. We know he'll get this trip on soft ground, no problem, as of course he is a former Midlands national winner over 4 mile 2 on heavy. So he did run a solid race himself, though, in the Welsh National when finishing third. Another positive then for this race on previous renewals. He has been given £3 back for that solid run. So perhaps he's being cited at the Midlands National again. And he may just be getting another spin around here to get his mark down before he heads to Uttoxeter. But in terms of a profile for this race, he is ideal. So I will chance that today is going to be the day again then for him, and he can win off of this mark. So about majority of the field covered there then for our tips for that race. So we will move on. Hopefully we can narrow it down better in our next race. This is the 3 o'clock at Ascot. Switching to the hurdles now, where we have a handicap hurdle for 4-year-olds and over 2 mile 3. Another really likeable race, I thought, where a strong chance can be given to any number of these horses. So for all that, I think that Good Risk at All has a huge chance himself. I say that he has just actually drifted out a little bit. He was a bit short when the betting opened up for me. For all that, as I say, I think he has a massive chance. But given the strong claims about his rivals, it is pretty open. But Andrew, back to you, please, to solve this race for us.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Good Risk at All, 7-4 favourite, won the race. But he's finished second on his last 3 starts. We've beaten at odds of 2-1, 11-8, and 3-1 on. And do you want to back a horse at a short price again with that sort of profile? There is quite a lot of pace in this race as well. So there was 1 or 2 that I've got in the tracker as perhaps to back on the next start, but they're going to get taken on for the lead, which is sort of putting me off them. You've got the added complication of the Alan King horse, ex-French Piccadilly Lily, who has nibbled out in the betting early doors. That one's making its British debut, so we don't know much about her at all. So there's a lot of imponderables. The one, and again, Christopher Wood switching from Paul Nicholls to Venetia Williams. That's an interesting change of yard. I won't be surprised to see him run quite well. Fast Company, hurdlers on soft ground do very well. You can back them blind and make a profit. The one I'm going to say tentatively is Reserve Tank for Colin Tizard. Now, I think he's more of a spring horse. I think 4 of his 5 wins or 4 of his last 5 wins have come in sort of March, April, May time. He's one I think I backed for the Stayers hurdle last year or the year before at a stupid price. Thought he might run well, and he might need this run and then run well at Cheltenham is perhaps what's going to happen. But he was 20s into 12s at one stage a day or 2 ago. So, maybe Reserve Tank can run a race for informed Colin Tizard.
Oh, I was waiting for this. I was waiting to see if at least one of you was going to side with Reserve Tank in this race. And Daryl, I know you had a smile on your face. So was that a smile in agreement or a smile in disbelief?
Disbelief. He'll be back. He'll be tipping Goshen next. I actually think that Good Risk at All is the best handicapped horse in this race. I actually thought he was a fair price a couple of days ago. He's been hammered in the market to 15 to 8, so I can't really touch him at that price now, but I definitely think he's the most likely winner. I know he's been beaten the last 3 times, but last time at Warwick, it was just a much more polished display from him in terms of the jumping department. Before, he was stuttering and flipping out at every single hurdle and not knowing what to do. Last time at Warwick, it was just much more fluent other than 2 out. And then he stuck to the task really strongly. I think the step up in trip is definitely going to suit him. So I think that's a source of improvement for him. And Charlie Deutsch for Sam Thomas is very interesting. I think he's definitely the most likely winner in my opinion. You could sort of make half cases, I suppose, for a lot of the others, but I think you're really clutching at straws. I don't think anything's too well handicapped in behind. The likes of Highway 102 just might get a... Well, I don't know if he will or not. But
you're not going to say easy lead, are you?
No. But he's a horse that if he doesn't get the lead, he's happily just sits second or third, and he's just as happy doing that. And sometimes these strong paces around Ascot, they can just hold up, and he would be in a good position to strike. He's fairly handicapped. Look, I'm not going to have a bet in the race because I've missed the price on Good Risk at All. I was going to happily have a good punt on him this weekend, but I'll leave it now. In terms of a selection, I can't give you... Well, I'll give you a Good Risk at All.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm finding myself at the minute, where he is my main selection for this race. I do think he is the most likely winner, but as you say, that price has just gone, and I do think it is a pretty open race of those in behind. But as you say, in terms of a win selection, for me, it also has to be Good Risk at All, because he just ticks all of the boxes here really for me. But as you say, from the each way play, I'm also taking a very similar path down with this race with Highway 102. as well in this race, because he ran a solid race off of a £1 lower mark, as you say, to finish second in the Lanzarote last time out. Again, he should be ridden prominently, which is a huge positive for this race. I do hope that, you know, if he does get taken onto the lead, as you say, he is pretty happy to just sit back and still be ridden prominently, which is still absolutely fine for this race. He's had a decent freshen up since that Kempton run, and he's had the ideal conditioning with 5 starts already to set him up well for this race too. So a couple for me then at differing prices as well. So we'll move on to our next race. This is the 338 at Ascot. This is the Grade 1 Betfair Ascot Chase for 5-year-olds and over 2 mile 5. I always like this race. It looks another interesting race, interesting in itself that Joseph O'Brien is sending over the super likeable Fakir Dudery for this race. So Daryl, Grade 1 contest, who wins it?
The only Grade 1 horse in the field, Fakir Dudery. I can't believe he's as big as 5-2. I think that's a massive price, that.
11-4 now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Wow, not when I open my wallet up, he won't be.
Get on now.
Yeah, I think he's got a massive chance. I thought he did remarkably well last time behind Alaho. I know he was beaten 12 lengths. He's not going to beat that horse anyway. Alaho's just a bigger striding, just a classier horse than him. He's never going to beat him, but he made a massive mistake at the first that day.
He hoofed it, yeah.
And the way he was able to get back into the race, he's just a very, very good horse. I mean, go back to his entry run in April last year when he just absolutely blitzed the field by 11 lengths. Decent horses. It just goes to show how far ahead those Irish horses are of the British. And they've come over here. Mark Walsh has made the journey over, which is a positive sign. This is a good prize for them to pick up. I think he's going to take a world of beating in this race. I know a lot of people like St. Calvados, and I couldn't believe how many people were saying, oh, he's going to come on for the run at Kempton. This horse has got a really good record fresh. He's the only time I'd want to back him. If he went straight to the Ryanair from that Kempton run, I'd be very interested in backing him, even against Alaho. But I just think he's a horse that goes very well fresh. Now, I know you could argue that, he's changed yards, so, you know, the training regime could be different, and that could well be the case. But just going on the history, you know, I wouldn't expect the Kempton performance again today. That's all I would say about him. And the market is expecting that exact performance. I thought Fanny and Destraval was the most likely danger to Fakir. He was quite impressive, I thought, under Lucy Turner at Ascot. She just went a little bit too early. But she had no real choice about when to go, and he was just beaten by a better handicapped horse that day. That was off 159. He's gone up £3 for that and recorded an RPR of 169. So he's definitely not out of his depth here. I love the way he jumps. I love the way he can quicken. I just think Fakir is just a better horse, and I think he's the best horse in the race. I really do. I can't believe he's 5-2. Honestly, he should be a 13-8 shot.
Yeah, and he will be when this goes live.
He will be when this wallet gets open, girl.
Exactly. Quickly put yourself on mute there, Daryl, and just open the wallet up and just go mad. But save a little bit of value for us, please, because
I can see the flies coming out of it as he opens it. The moths.
The mothballs. Everywhere. Yeah, Andrew, right. We need to get on Fakir Dudery. Do you agree? You're going to
I mean, cracking race. Fakir Dudery's never lost a race when he's been the clear market leader, 3 from 3. I think he was 4th once when he was 9-2 joint favourite, but that was at the Cheltenham Festival, I think. So, and again, I mean, you sort of try and pick holes in. You look and think, well, he jumped a little bit out to his left last time, but then hang on a minute, he's won loads of times right-handed. So, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he won. Yeah, St. Calvados, I thought was a little short at 4-1. You know, good enough effort last time out, coming back in trips, going to suit, but you know, I didn't see enough to make me want to take that sort of price. Fanny on Destraval again at 9-2. I could see him, you know, winning or running well, but the price doesn't appeal. I mean, Mr. Fisher, you know, is one I like, and you look at his record in fields of 11 or fewer runners, 2 miles to 2 miles, 6 furlongs, 7 wins, a second, and a pulled up from 9 starts. So, you know, I thought he'd run well again. Dashel Drasher, last year's winner. Again, perhaps not the same sort of form this time around. He got done by 2 for Gold last time. You know, 2 for Gold's a horse I love, but he's a winter horse. He's got his ground, but can he do it in Grade 1 company? That's been the problem previously. So I just worry slightly that this is a step too far for him. And you know, I suppose you could take a chance at 20-1 if you're a fan of the horse like I am. But I'm going to go with Mr. Fisher over Fakir Dudery just to be a bit contrary to Daryl. And And just
Andrew.
so we got, the pundits have got 2 chances of backing a winner in the race. And
no, they like it when we all go in together. I think we've got a pretty good strike rate when we all do that. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Those are the 2 I was looking at. Mr. Fisher and Fakir Dudarian, with Mr. Fisher being the biggest price. I'll just side with him.
Okay. We'll let price dictate, therefore. But I will be fuming if Mr. Fisher, my solid grade 2 horse, goes and beats Fakir Dudari, who's my each way play for the Ryanair to basically follow Allaho home. If he gets beaten by him in this race, I will be fuming. So, Andrew, back to you. Anything else from Ascot, please?
Nothing for me, thank you, Kate.
No worries. Daryl?
Oh, yes. 410. Gary Moore's Imphal goes again. Won for us last time at Wincanton. I thought he did remarkably well to come from off what was a steady pace that day. Not many horses make up the ground at Wincanton. I think he's still well handicapped. He was remarkable at this venue the time before behind Ard Hill, and he's only £3 higher thanks to Niall Houlihan's negotiation of his latest rise. So,
Daryl, what about the ground for Imphal? Because I tipped him up last time as well, and they said he hated good to soft, and the last time he was due to run on officially soft or worse, they pulled him out. So I was just a little bit concerned that that would be too sticky for him on Saturday. Yeah,
it might well be. To be honest, I'll have to watch the weather. But I thought he's gone well enough in deeper contests on soft ground previously, and he just might be so well handicapped that he can get away with it. But yeah, I mean, we should have mentioned the weather, really, shouldn't we? We are due a lot more rain at Ascot and at Haydock. So I think Haydock are thinking about doing an inspection before racing. So obviously, I mean, all of these selections just depend on weather. And if they go on the column, they go on the column. If they don't, then there's a reason.
Yeah, definitely. But do be mindful of that. And as you say, watch for inspection updates and everything, because that is obviously the talk at the minute with racing, then looking ahead to this weekend. But that was horse number 8 there, Imphal, in the 410 at Ascot for Daryl. So we will head north now to our second meeting of the day. We will head up to Haydock, where, as I say, do watch weather warnings and such like prior to this meeting. But we will begin with the 205. This is the Grade 2 Rendlesham Hurdle for 4-year-olds and over 3 miles. Only 6 runners here, just as muddling as a stayers hurdle in itself, it seems. So, Daryl, your assessment of this race, please.
I spent loads of time on this race, and I didn't want to back any of them. I didn't like Molly's. I don't like Molly's Ollie's Wishes record against the boys. Yeah, I don't know if Thomas Darby really wants a slog in heavy ground over 3 miles, because he's, I think that's the limit of his stamina. Third Wind returns to the race he won last year. He's just qualified for the Potemps, but I actually thought they were very easy on him at Warwick when he qualified for that Potemps. So I was just a little bit suspicious that they would come here and really go for it. I know they qualified for the Potemps last year, won this race last year, and then went for the Potemps, but I just wonder if they are looking back and thinking, I wish we'd have had a couple of pounds off him. Yeah. And he's around the same sort of mark. So he's probably the most likely winner, but I couldn't have Emma Tom. I can't back Holstone off the back of 455-day layoff. And Topville Ben, I mean, there's nothing wrong with him, really, I guess, but it'll be disappointing if he's winning this. What a poor race, Kate.
It's not great, is it? It's not ideal at all. Especially when you chuck into the mix. These are meant to be our stayers hurdle contenders, but then you chuck into a mix the Potemps as well, Angle. And you sort of
the Irish must be crapping themselves when they see this lot.
Yeah, terrified. Yeah, exactly. Nightmare.
I'll go Third Wind just to give you a selection, but
in the case that today is the day and not the Potemps, but that's the way. That is what we're dealing with, Andrew. What do we do?
I think we laid the front 2 because Thomas Darby's not reliable enough and consistent enough to be a 7-4 shot. I think he's been favourite 7 times in his career. He's only won twice. Molly's Ollie's Wishes. Fantastic horse, but again, like Daryl says, she hasn't done it against the boys previously. You could argue she hasn't had many opportunities outside of mares only races, but wouldn't be for me at that sort of price, 5-2. So yeah, you're left with kind of like last year's winner, Third Wind, the pace angle, Topville Ben, who's a horse I like in terms of he goes well left-handed. He loves Weatherby. He won at Lingfield last time out when I put him up, and he's made all in a small field. Might, if he gets his own way in front again, then he could be hard to pass. He's had 2 runs here, a win and a fall. Emerton, I'm not a huge fan of. And Holstone, I thought he can go well fresh. He might run some sort of race, but he's an 11-year-old now, and he's been weak in the early betting, so the chances are he'll need the run after such an absence. So I would do, third Dutch third wind and top VILLE Ben and do the reverse forecast. I think that might be the way to tackle the race.
That's probably the most sensible way to play that race, really. But yeah, no tour mentions for those. And as you say, Holstone would be interesting because he's an absolute tractor of a horse, isn't he? He loves soft ground, but can you side with him on the back of that longer layoff? It is. It's just a nightmare. But I think the lads are choosing some very good ways to play that race then in the 205 at Haydock. So we'll move on to another proper stamina sapping testing in our next race. This is the 240. This is the Grand National Trial. Grade 3 handicap chase for 5-year-olds and over 3 mile 4. And with the forecast and current heavy ground, this is going to take some getting this trip. So Andrew, good old slog on offer here. Who slogs it out the best?
Yeah, and so not just the likely heavy ground, it's also the wind as well, and that's going to be in their faces in the straight. And I mean, generally, Haydock over fences, you want to be on the front end, you want to be getting into a good rhythm. We see it time and time again. Horses in behind look like they're going well, and they find absolutely diddly squat on the run-in. And the grinder up in front just keeps pulling out a little bit more, like Lord de Menil did in this race 12 months ago. I wanted to be against Secret Reprieve. We talked about the Welsh National and how much that race seems to have taken it out of the participants, even the ones who didn't get round. They've been coming out next time, and the ones who pulled up, Chapter seem to pull up again. The only horse who has run any sort of race subsequently was Disho Abba, who went to his beloved Sandown and probably ran poorly at Chapter because he doesn't like going left-handed. So I'm definitely against the favourite Secret Reprieve. Sam Brown, he's interesting. Got to go left-handed when he's over obstacles. When he races in bumpers or left-handed over hurdles and fences, 5 wins, second and a third from 7 starts. Encarta wasn't keen on. I know a lot of people are because of his course form, but he was. I was sort of similarly afflicted last year. I thought, he's going to run a good race in this. He's finished 5th. He just seems to go off the boil, in the second half of the campaign. So I thought that might be the case again. Black Lion couldn't put you off despite the age. I mean, he was second off 161 in this race back in the day. I think it was in 2018. He's 16 pounds lower this time round. He seems to have been revitalised by the switch for yard, so he could go well. But the Galloping Bear is the one I'm going to go for. He's just, does what the name suggests, gets out in front and keeps grinding away. And, I hope he'd be able to do that and prove hard to pass.
Yeah, the Galloping Bear then to keep on galloping for Andrew in this proper test. Daryl, who do you side with?
Yeah, the Galloping Bear for me as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, look, it's not
agreement. What's going on?
Yeah, I know.
What have
I've missed you.
Very high spirits.
Missed you too, darling.
It's not a race that I get super excited about. These staying distances. Bristol de Mai was the first one on my list. Obviously, Haydock heavy. He's a fair price. He's not been rated this low. Well, not been rated this low. I say 159 since beating Black Lion half length in the Charlie Hall in 2017. He was, back to a little bit of form last time, but whether he's going to get this trip, I don't know. I mean, it was last year, I think, or the year before that, I was calling him to be dropped back and trip for the Ryanair rather than going for another Gold Cup because I just don't think he sees it out. But that's up a hill. He's a flat track merchant, isn't he? But yeah, I just thought the Galloping Bear was pretty straightforward. Just going to go out on front, just keep galloping, just grind him and submission. I do like a horse that who is a prominent racer in heavy ground. I hate these hold-up horses held right out the back of the field to try and switch them off in heavy ground because you just can't make up the ground. Unless they go too hard, you cannot make the ground up. And then you're automatically relying on those to go too hard up front. So I just thought he would keep it simple. He's fairly straightforward. And I think that's what you need to look for in these sort of staying events.
Yeah, you definitely do. And the lads in agreement there. You need to have a couple of weeks apart again because you're clearly on too much of a wavelength right now.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Exactly. We'll see how it plays out then with the results as well. But it's a really tricky race. And the one who I want to give another chance to, he is a horse I have a complete love-hate relationship with because I can basically never get him right. The outsider of the field here, and it is Kalooki. He's 22-1 then for this race. And he again has such a solid profile though for this race for me on recent renewals of this. But basically, because I can never get him right, probably a good one to then avoid. But at least you're getting a fair price about him, around 22 to 1 here currently, because as I say, he's hitting the sweet spot for me with this race off of his marker 145, in the hope his class can come to the fore, as we very often see in this race. He never threatened in the Peter Marsh last time out, but kept on well enough all the same. His jumping has just got better and better. Of course, he does need a left-handed track, but that's what he's getting again now. And also he's had a sighter at Haydock's fences now, where he did jump solid in the main as well. So that should stand him in good stead. He won't mind testing conditions. I'm just hoping that they ride him prominently. That is a concern. He kind of flip-flops between the two. Hopefully,
they've taken the headgear off this time, haven't they? He wore first-time cheek pieces. They left it off from, so
which I'm not sure what to make of it. I
Yeah,
don't know
it's
what to
difficult,
make of that. Yeah, anyway, but he just, I say everything else profile-wise is there, apart from my support, which is probably going to be to his detriment. But either way, I'll give him another chance here of Kalooki, the outsider of the field. So, Daryl, back to you for anything else from Haydock, please.
No, thank you. Not with that weather.
Pardon?
Not with that weather.
No, exactly. Andrew, do you like the weather?
Can't say I do, but interested in Hillcrest in the 350, not as a bet, just to watch him to see how he gets on with a view to Cheltenham. He unseated at Cheltenham last time out, but I was impressed with his win the time before.
I know, that was gutting. That really was gutting, that unseat last time out. But do watch him then with a sighter then to Cheltenham in itself as much as anything else. So that is us done at Haydock. We'll move on to our final scheduled race, actually. This is the 320 at Wincanton. It's the Grade 2 Kingwell Hurdle, Grade 2 contest for 4-year-olds and over a mile 7. 4 runners. Goshen bidding to defend his crown even after his emphatic win in this race last year. Andrew, does Goshen have everything in his favour to be winning this race again?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the horse. Probably putting it very mildly. But you look at this, you think, well, he's going right-handed. He's got soft ground, might even be softer become post time, and he's going to make the running. And you assume he's going to be hard to pass, or at least tread an awful lot shorter in running than he currently is at the moment. So, I couldn't find a great reason for opposing him. I don't want to put up a selection in the race. I can't take Goshen. I've to get the game up.
You want to. Go on. Just do it. Just be nice.
Yeah, I mean, Adagio, he hasn't gone right-handed, has he, since he's joined David Pipe. So you don't know whether he can handle going this way around or not. But I'll leave it to Daryl. I'm sure Daryl's got a strong opinion about this one.
Oh, Daryl, he was close. He was that close to giving a favourable mention then to Goshen with financial support.
That's a tip in itself, isn't it? Because he knows Goshen wins. I think he's got everything in his favour again. He won the race last year. He's got to give away a little bit of weight, but he still comes out best on the ratings. Soft ground in his favour. He's going to get a soft lead. You would have thought. I don't think Clandin are allowed to be able to live with him when he gets going. He's just got everything in his favour again, hasn't he? I suppose the one concern you could have with him, if you want to be really picky, is that this is like his third run in, 4 weeks?
Yeah.
So,
a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. And I know he won by 15 lengths last time, beating Guard Your Dreams at Sandown, but it did look like it took a bit out of him. So, there is potential for him to blow out a little bit, but, I mean, I'm not going to back him at odds on, but he's the right favourite. He's the right price. Everything's in his favour. So, yeah.
But pair of you just want to say it, but you can't do it. But yeah, this might well be Goshen yet again. What a wonderfully wacky, wild sport this is. But as you say, he is the right price, but there is just that ever so slight danger of that. But I think that's definitely worth mentioning anyway from Daryl himself. But yeah, not a betting race for our final scheduled race. So Daryl, I'll go back to you for anything else from Wincanton or anywhere else.
I've not done the Wincanton card yet. I'm there on Saturday, so I will be doing that tomorrow. So anything will be on the column. Perfect. And Andrew, anything else from anywhere else for you?
Yeah, I'm going to Lingfield at 420, Shoot to Kill, who's 3 from 3 since joining Robin Brisland. The first of those wins came at Lingfield, where he was drawn in stall 2. Very difficult to win from a low draw up to a mile at Lingfield because of the dead rail. He's then followed that up with a win at Wolverhampton. When he's bidding for the hat-trick, he's been off the track for several weeks. He was drawn in stall 1. He thought he can't win from that draw, can he, round the inside? He's drifted from 7s out to 20s at one stage, SP of 14 to 1. He's still won. He's hit the front way too soon, closer to the inside rail. The cavalry's come down the middle, like about half a dozen horses. You think they're going to wear him down. He's still managed to hold on. So that's got me. He's only gone up £3. He should have gone up at least 7 for that. Now he's due to run on Friday, but with winds forecast to gust up to 76 miles per hour, I think the chance of Lingfield being on Friday is virtually nil. So I imagine he's entered on Saturday in case that meeting's off. So yeah, shoot to kill if he does indeed run here 4:20.
Yeah, if he goes on Saturday, then shoot to kill horse number 7 in the 4:20 at Lingfield. Now, Andrew, your nap of the weekend, please.
Shoot to kill a 4:20 Lingfield, and I'll just have a reserve selection in case he doesn't go, and that's the Galloping Bear in the 2:40 at Haydock.
Nicely done. Daryl, your nap, please.
Fakir.
Oh,
there is at Ascot in the Betfair Ascot Chase. Wins.
Sames, but I can't do it in quite a dramatic delivery as Daryl has just done. But yeah, Fakir Doodery for me as well then. So to put the mockers on Daryl's nap specifically for him there in the 3:38 at Ascot in the Betfair Ascot Chase. Really looking forward to that and looking forward to all of the weekend action. Hopefully everything goes ahead as planned. Hopefully conditions don't deteriorate too terribly either, but do pay attention and do watch out for all of that. So great to have the lads back then for this week's show. Thank you to them for all of their hard work. Thank you to you for watching. Thank you to our sponsors for SBK. Lots of thanks, lots of tips. We'll catch up with you again next week.